I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Collins.
Yeah.
Baloo.
Yeah.
Himes. Councilperson Himes did inform me that she may not be here today, so it was known in advance. So. Snyder.
Here.
Garmin. Here. Amstutz.
Here.
Everyone received the regular council minutes from March 16th. Any amendments? Hearing none, minutes stand as approved. Council has also provided minutes from the special work session that took place on March 30th. Any amendments to that? Hearing none, amendments stand as approved. Takes us to public speaks. Ms. Bailey.
Yes, sir. As you know, I am Clarissa Bailey. I wrote a letter because my nerves are shot, and that's the best way for me to do what I would like to say. My name's Clarissa Bailey, and I'm here tonight as a mother, a lifelong community member, and the widow of Michael Bailey. I'm speaking because our community deserves accountability, transparency, and a police department that responds to emergencies and interacts with our children in a way that reflects the values of East Canton. On the night of my husband's accident, the accident that ultimately took his life, East Canton Police Department was the closest law enforcement agency to the scene. Despite that, they did not arrive for more than 48 minutes after the initial call. By the time they appeared, multiple other law enforcement agencies and EMTs were already on scene doing everything they could. I'm not here to place blame for the outcome of that night, but I'm here to say that a nearly hour-long delay from our own police department in a life or death emergency is unacceptable. No family in this town should ever have to wonder whether help will arrive when they need it most. Most recently, our community has been shaken again. This time it's involved children. For years, the local children have stayed out of trouble riding their ATVs and dirt bikes through town. Sometimes that has always been a harmless and positive outlet for them, but after a recent incident where an East Canton police officer was physically rough and forceful with a 13-year-old boy, these same kids are now afraid to do the very thing that has kept them safe, active, and connected. Parents are worried, children are anxious, and trust in our police department is eroding. These two incidents, one involving a delayed emergency response and one involving unnecessary force towards a child, point to a larger issue that cannot be ignored. We need answers, we need change, and we need leadership within the East Canton Police Department that reflects the standards our community expects and deserves. I am asking this council to take these concerns seriously, to review these incidents thoroughly, ensure that policies, trainings, and accountability measures are put in place so no other family and no other child expresses what mine has. Thank you for your time.
No, I don't have a copy.
Can I put it in minutes?
Yeah.
Can you leave a copy of that letter, or can I make a copy of it?
I can email it to you.
If you could, I would
Yep.
appreciate that.
Council have any questions for Ms. Bailey?
This is the first I've heard of any of that sort of thing, so I can't really comment on it.
I believe first I want to say I'm sorry for the loss of your husband. There's nothing that we can say that would take away that pain. The accident in question, that happened out in the township, right?
It was right outside of the township. It was right at the entrance of the annex going into the brickyard.
Yeah.
Which is only a few hundred yards out of our jurisdiction.
The only reason I ask is because the location it determines which unit is called out, right? So,
Well, my issue is that I was told that the officer that was on duty that evening, I believe her name's Kelly, I'm not sure right offhand. She has dark hair, works midnights. She said that she didn't know if that was in her jurisdiction or not. So that's a concern. If we don't know our jurisdiction, then definitely that needs to be addressed. Our officers should know where they can go and where they can't go. And if it's life or death, that they can still be there.
So I can speak to this if that's okay.
Yeah,
Again, I'm sorry
absolutely.
for your loss. I do not disagree with you. I think we should have been dispatched to that call. Unfortunately, since it came in another jurisdiction, it was not through our dispatch center, and they never notified us on that. I have a meeting with our dispatch center supervisor, and we are going to sit down and try to resolve this type of issue in the future.
She could see it from the location that she had asked the bystander. That's why I'm upset, because where
absolutely.
it was, from the gentleman's driveway, you can see a straight shot to the accident scene where my husband was.
So, and I don't disagree with that. Nobody knew in the village what had happened for several minutes until afterwards. She had thought that it was a power outage. She was actually approached at the gas station by a couple individuals who actually saw the accident. So that is when she responded to it. And again, I think that the area or the issue that there is just that it was just outside of our jurisdiction. So.
Okay, now I might be out of term, and you can correct me if I am. But if that was your fellow spouse or somebody like that, because that was also a Leo's son.
Sure, and I don't disagree with you, and by the time my officers were notified and they arrived on scene, the State Highway Patrol was already there as well as EMS.
State Highway Patrol didn't get there for 23 minutes.
And
East Canton was there, the EMTs were there in 2 minutes flat.
Sure.
If we were across town, that would have given ECPD 10 minutes. We'll give 15.
And I don't disagree with you. Again, we were not notified. And we were
I
not the first. Well, I'm more than happy to take your name. You can review our dispatch logs. I have absolutely no problem sharing that with you. There were other law enforcement agencies.
You should have seen it on her body cam, and she had a body cam.
Sure,
on that
absolutely she did.
So then you should see when she pulled into that driveway.
Well,
and
there's
everything.
and there's also radio logs, and according to everybody on scene, there were other law enforcement agencies there as well as EMS. Even according to you, EMS was there, before we arrived.
That's because I have to report.
Okay.
I'm not naive.
I'm not saying that you are, but again, if we're not dispatched and we happened upon the accident and there's already EMS there and other law enforcement agencies.
East Canton medics were there.
Okay.
Osnaburg medics were there.
Correct. So again, if they are arriving, even the medics, that's a higher level of care than we're able to provide
Absolutely,
as police
but
officers.
the police officer should still have been on scene.
Again, if we were dispatched, we absolutely would have been.
I think, man,
It's a shame to
different
be in this town
dispatch.
anymore.
It's a different dispatch group. Like I said before, there's nothing we can say that's going to take away the pain. And
Tell that to my 6 kids.
Man, I would say.
Because honestly, that night he was coming home to be to his kids.
Man.
And instead, my kids got to see it through their bedroom window. So imagine how they actually feel. So you want to understand why I'm so upset at ECPD? That's why.
But they didn't cause the wreck.
You're right, they didn't. But they also could have been on scene. They should have been on scene instead of 48 minutes later to direct traffic.
We're more than happy to review to see when if and when a dispatch call came in for us.
I will email it to you.
All right.
Gladly.
Any other comments for Mrs. Bailey? Any questions?
No, I'm ashamed of living in this town anymore. That's for sure.
Who did take the call?
That would be sheriff's office jurisdiction, so.
It was State Highway Patrol that took the office.
Was it in the city of Canton that it happened? Where
I believe that.
So, yeah, that is
City
the
of
city of Canton's,
Yeah.
like, so it's Osnaburg Township, but the city of Canton has jurisdiction there.
so would that have gone through Canton's dispatch?
Most likely,
It
when
was
people call
still sheriffs that
911,
came
it goes
through.
through, if you call 911 from out there, it goes through Canton City.
Because we're on sheriff's dispatch, right?
Correct, but my issue, my issue is the same as yours, if they are dispatching EMS to these calls, they need to dispatch us as well. So that is part of the issue that I have with this, is that we should have been dispatched when fire went out to the call, since it's just outside of our jurisdiction.
So we wouldn't have heard the calls, what I'm asking,
No,
because
Because it's a different jurisdiction.
But East Canton would not taken the call because it's not your dirt.
well, it's not about taking the call or not. I want to know, did they, whatever officer was working with, they heard the call?
so
On the radio.
Wydra, so Officer Wydra and Officer Arena were both working that night, and neither one of them got a call for service on that. They happened upon the accident because there was a power outage. Officer Arena was told at the gas station that there was an accident, and I believe that Officer Wydra actually happened upon the accident, but we were never dispatched.
If there's an EMS call in town, is that standard procedure to go to that call?
I would like it to be, but it is not currently. Typically, if it's something that is a suspicious, a DOA, or, something where they believe, there may be some type of a police, they may need some type of police backup, they'll call us. But typically, we are not dispatched when EMS is dispatched, which I've been working, trying to rectify that. I would like us dispatched to every EMS call in town.
So even though they dispatch Osnaburg Fire, we wouldn't have heard that call on any of our radios or anything.
No, we have our own dedicated police channel. So
Yeah, you
unless,
Maybe
You would
that's
think
something
in
that
a-
we need to get is so that you guys do have a radio connected with them so that.
and that's what I would like. That is something that I've spoken with our dispatch on, because unfortunately too, it is kind of, if there's a dispatcher that, certain dispatchers will call us and say, hey, just so you guys know, this is going on outside of town, but it's not their standard protocol. And that's something that I definitely want to see happen.
Would that be a whole new radio system or just
No,
flashing?
no, we can actually, so we can, if these calls go out, they use, it's called Active 911. And so typically the way this worked at my other agency was they would have a tablet dedicated down at dispatch. So once our dispatch goes out, then they get the call, they see it, they can dispatch the PD as well. So I've got a meeting with their supervisor this week where that was what I was specifically going to speak to him about, was having us dispatch to all the EMS calls in town. So.
I'm trying to get this up to you. It should have said.
Anything else for Ms. Bailey? Ms. Bailey, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
I think that's it for public speaks. Going to committee reports. Service.
Under Under roads, I'd like to see if we can get the paving project approved tonight. Kurt has the numbers. I think it's around 79,000, something like that. So I'd like to see if we can get that approved so we can get on the schedule for that. The state is replacing the sidewalk entrances on the main drag on Nassau, all the entrances. The sidewalks are off the side streets. State's also planning on starting a Route 30 paving project sometime around May. That's when we had that meeting with the mayor, and I believe some of you guys were involved in it also, where we met with the state. They're gonna go out past Browning a little bit to fix them holes. So that's supposed to start around May. I talked with them. The roller has been repaired and ready to go, with the exception of a new paint scheme coming. Planning on repairing all the water break holes with asphalt. They started making it today. So we're gonna work on that this week. The yard water main break holes, we'll have to do at a later time when the yards get a little harder, too soft to be messing around with topsoil and spin around there with the skid steer. Repaired potholes around town and will continue as needed. And repaired multiple signs that have been down from the wet weather and wind. We took the salter out of the new F-350, so now we're salt bin free. Hopefully we don't get no snow. Under parks, new playground equipment, I'd like to see if we can get approved tonight. It's like 24,000 and some change. Mr. Blue had that, was passing it around. It's the top page on there, I think. You have it beside you there. I don't know if everybody saw it yet or not. This is the top one would be the playground, and then there's 3 other estimates in there for the roof for Village Hall. I'll get to that in a little bit. But I'd like to keep that approved tonight also. Took down the broken bridge in the lower playground area. We did put up plywood for safety at the entrances. We're planning on replacing that with a solid bridge across there with proper rails for safety also. And that'll be done here pretty soon. Planning on opening the park restrooms and doing our first mow of the season this week. And under buildings, I'd like to see if we can get the Village Hall roof approved today. I'm going to recommend Yoder's. There's 3 estimates there. That'll be my recommendation. And it's you guys' call. Prices, I pulled them at the top of the pages for you guys, so you don't have to thumb through it. The total price. I'd like to get that approved tonight also. Painted the ceiling in the service garage. And this memorial out front here, we've talked about in the past. My plan is to take the memorial that's on the ground and move it to the left side of the entrance door to the Village Hall in that flower bed. Tear the bell out, get rid of all the bricks. So there'll just be a slab of concrete there. I might even take that out, but it'll all be relocated over to the left of the entrance doors in that flower bed. We'll try making something to pull the bell back up above it, like it's currently out there, but it'll be with steel, probably not brick. Underwater, we submitted the MS4 report to the EPA, so that's in. Also underwater, we're having some issues with apartments. So DeVille's used to own it, then AIY bought them out, and now another company bought AIY out. So there's a lot of change in hands, and what's happening is residents will move out, new residents will move in. When the new resident moves in, Penny, our water clerk, gets a call saying that they moved in, but we never get a call saying they moved out. So we have no record of how to get a hold of pay that last bill. Never know when to go do a final read because we never know when they move out. We only know when somebody just moves in. So I'd like to see if there's some kind of ordinance or something we could do to maybe have it be the property owner's responsibility across the board, whether it be apartment or a house. Whoever owns that property is responsible for it. Mr. Babbitt, you can take that over from there.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon for municipal corporations like East Canton who have utilities, not just water, but others, to pass legislation requiring that the utilities always be in the name of the owner. There could be a courtesy copy provided to a tenant. Sometimes if the owner has a rental property, they can notify us and say, ABC LLC owns the property, but Joe Smith is a tenant. We might provide a courtesy copy to the tenant, but to avoid being in the business of always tracking what can sometimes be transient residents, it's easier for villages to just require that the utility be in the name of the owner, and then the owner is free to work out with their tenant whatever they want as far as payment goes. They could say, here's the bill, you pay the village. They could say, you pay me and I pay the village, however they want to handle it, but it avoids the issue of our utility department, which is, I mean, not a well-staffed operation. There's not a lot of people who can do it, but it avoids the need for them to constantly be tracking who's in and who's out. And then similarly, the delinquencies that arise, we don't have to chase people, and we're more likely to get paid because we can immediately place the lien on the property if there's a delinquency. So that's not uncommon. Other municipalities, in fact, every other municipality I represent that has utilities does it that way. I would note, though, there is House Bill 92 that's pending. It has been passed in the House, is now sitting in front of the Ohio Senate. That would make this, it would render us unable to do this, but it has not yet been passed. It's pending. So if council wishes, I can prepare legislation to amend our water service rules to require that the utility always be in the name of the property owner.
So moved.
Is it garbage too?
Oh, we have some issues with garbage now. I'm gonna take care of that through Kimball. I'm gonna try that route first.
Mine's Kimball's.
Yeah, I'll talk to them. Well, there's
They're
some
using
issues,
somebody
there's some,
else.
there's some reports of other garbage companies being used. So I'm gonna check into that. But I'll try calling Kimball and letting them handle that. That's the route I'm gonna take with that.
I don't see why. It'd be twice as expensive.
Because aren't those buildings owned by out-of-town people? Is it one building?
Yeah, the apartments, yes.
Yeah.
AIY used to have, now it's somebody in California, I believe.
Well, we have the lien ability for the delinquencies. And if it's a tenant, we don't have the owner attached to it, it could be difficult for us to assert the lien rights. So even if they're located in, like Venezuela, I mean, we can put a lien on the property for the unpaid utilities. We're more likely to get paid then.
If those properties are changing hands so quickly, you put a lien on it, that stops immediately until it's taken care of.
Correct, 100%.
I like the sound of that.
So then I'll wrap it up with zoning. I did write one zoning permit. Also just referencing back, I'd like to see if we can get the paving project approval, playground equipment approval, and the roof for the village hall approval tonight.
And it might be good to go over what streets for the paving.
Okay. So I'm gonna do Hartford from Noble to the cul-de-sac. We're gonna do Worley, North Worley from the park entrance all the way to the dead end. And that'll be also sloped up because there's the neighbors up there, a lot of the water runs down between the houses. It just pours down through there. And the catch basins are on the opposite side of the road, on the west side of the road. So we're gonna get it built up so the water will travel to the opposite side of the road where the catch basins are at. So hopefully that helps. And then, what was the other one? Plum from Noble to Worley, all the way up. So basically half of Worley from the park down where it's getting real bad, because the hill's not horrible with potholes. It just needs ground down from where we repaired water breaks. And then Plum's really bad from Worley all the way down to Noble. It's pretty bad. So that's all getting done there. And then Hartford from Noble intersection that was already done up to the cul-de-sac. So that would be the three main streets there. And what I'm trying to do is work my way from west to east on the north side as years go on, and then jump to the south side, unless a road just starts crumbling. Like Market was crumbling, that's why we did that the one year, because it just shot. So when I find something like that, I'll jump over there and do that. But I'd like to try to keep a pattern going.
I don't think Hartford's been done.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
I don't even know if I remembered everything.
So like next year, Burger up to Burger Circle, it's pretty good shape. It's not bad. So I'd probably go to Ranowski and Cedar, and then jump across the Third and Shady Side and all that, just as time goes on, whatever the money allows us to do. Browning's in bad shape too, from the school, the old Smith.
You He wasn't here at the last meeting that we talked about the cars parked in. You were gonna have him check to see if they were licensed.
Oh, with the cars at private, yeah, we actually talked about that.
And there's a new one on Otter. He had like 87 cars in his truck.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, so we had had a discussion today, Henry, myself, and Solicitor Babick, just regarding enforcement. And so Solicitor Babick's going to generate the form for Henry to utilize for zoning enforcement. I don't want to step on your toes and say anything, but I think we have a pretty good plan moving forward in regards to what the requirements are and how we're going to enforce. So I think here in the short term, we should be able to start addressing some of these issues. With a couple of them being some businesses in the area as well.
Do you know the one on Otter?
Yes. I know that one. I know the other one you were talking about on Nassau and Browning.
Yeah.
And then several businesses. Yeah. So once we get the forms, then we'll start
And then
going around.
on Orchard, not down by us, but up above, they park on the opposite sides of the street. I mean, the wrong way. Isn't that, is that legal in East Canton? I mean, we were never allowed to park on the wrong side.
I would say that I would give you bad information if I answered that.
It's a law, that chief.
I don't believe that that's addressed in the ordinance. I'll have to check and see.
I think the only thing is like what the fire
Yeah,
hydrants. You can't.
Well, that
and
kid
it's-
still parks by the fire hydrant and it doesn't make,
Yeah.
nothing has been done.
well, as long as he's not in front of it, we can't enforce it. And their driveway, that's the problem, is the car has to be parked in front of the fire
Or when
hydrant.
they're all home from college, it usually is.
So
and the-
we've
and then-
gone by there several times and it hasn't been.
And the school bus, and she was flying last week.
on that right there.
Yep.
Right in front of Hope. Okay.
Is there any other?
You know the school bus number?
No.
I'll
No, she goes too fast.
I'll call and bring it forward.
As far as the playground equipment, just to, if that gets approved, we're planning on getting rid of the Arc and the truck. They're both basically falling apart. The Arc used to have a slide, no longer has that. It's been blocked off. We have sliding hazard that we always put tape down, grip tape on. That goes every year. The front of it, somebody had stood on it and broke the nose of it. Also, there's screws hanging out everywhere there. It's just getting so old. Same thing with the truck. It's missing a steering wheel. Screws are popped out. Some of the tires, the way it's put together, is starting to pop off. So what I'm planning on doing is if we get rid of the truck up top, I wanted to put a teeter-totter for some of the toddlers, 2 of the bouncy animal things that you can bounce on for the toddlers, because that gives them a little more something than just 2 swings at that top pavilion. And then the lower where the Arc's at, I want to put a rock climbing wall with a slide on it. So that's what's in that quote. And that would be us taking it out. The quote shows how much material costs and they'll install it. But we'll have to take it out.
So, Beth, can you check into the, just to make sure we didn't miss anything on the parking on the streets, directional wise, just to make sure.
I just pulled it up. Is it a one-way street?
That's two.
No.
It's a two-way street and they're parked the
The
wrong
opposite way, yeah.
I don't think it's in ORC,
I don't believe it is either.
which surprises me, but
And then see,
Yeah, just.
there's one on this side, she's parked, that person's parked the wrong way, then you got the other side, so you have to go down the middle and wait for somebody to, one of these days it's gonna be,
Yeah. Yeah, so you're.
I would like to see one side only,
Yeah.
because it's not wide enough.
Yeah.
It's
Because
one,
we don't restrict it in that way. So what you're saying is that instead of having people parking on the street and they're all parking on the same side of the street, you're getting on both sides of the street. And sometimes those are in direct proximity to each other. So there's only one
Correct.
lane of traffic at that point.
and then the road curves, and then they park where the fire hydrant is,
Mhm.
and then sometimes they, at night, there's 2 or 3 cars there. And they work on their cars out in the street when they're home for the summer.
Yeah.
They got a whole patio that they could park on,
That's the basketball hoop, right?
and a driveway.
There is one more thing I'd like to address. That roofing quotes does not include the cupola, or I call it like the bell tower out here. There is an issue with that though, the slate sliding off that. So it is kind of a safety hazard. So I wanted to question you as council and Mayor Spencer, kind of see what direction we wanted to go with this, because that's not quoted on there, because I figured if we get somebody to replace that, then we're kind of dumping money into something that we didn't need to. And it's probably would, I don't know, without having it quoted, but I bet you it's an additional $4 or $5 grand at least to put shingles on that, get that tore off and do shingles.
4511.69C1A. No vehicle shall be stopped or parked on a road or highway with the vehicle facing in a direction other than the direction of travel on that side of the road.
Perfect.
Thank you, Solicitor.
I think it was Solicitor Chat GPT.
Do we have a municipal ordinance
That's what
substantially similar to that?
I was checking Ohio Basic Code. And I'm looking there to see if.
I mean, we can cite them, but they'll have to go through Canton Muni Court.
Yeah, but you could
Even if we accepted Ohio Basic Code as ordinance, that by accepting it basically becomes our,
Yeah,
and we do have that ordinance on file, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
I don't have a copy, so I don't have a copy of I have like the titles
Yeah,
and the ORC crosswalks, but I don't have the actual ordinances.
I mean, you could, like, when that snow ban thing where you just pop warnings on people's car.
Yes.
I mean, I would think if you would just give them a warning, like, hey, by revised code, blah, 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 you
And
can't
that's
park the
typically
wrong
what I
way.
would like to do.
Yeah, I mean,
before
there's
we
no,
issue
I wouldn't go
citations.
throwing tickets right away. I mean, just give them the warning, and if they crumple it up, throw it on the ground and continue to do it, that's a different story.
Right.
You know, if they're warned, you know, it's no different than, you know, my kid had to, you know, got it on their car during the snow thing and
Sure.
runs right out and pulls it, you know, up in the driveway.
No, that's how I would prefer to handle it
And-
before issuing.
Because like I say, if you just give them a warning, I mean, most people are gonna say, okay, you know, I didn't know, or whatever.
You be fixing those ones.
Yeah, we got more cold patch.
With our updated-
Up too.
With our updated
Yeah.
software and stuff we're using, can't you make notes on certain vehicles?
Yeah,
and
we have
stuff,
to do
so
that.
you can pull it up and look it up a month later or whatever.
Yeah, but you ever heard this cold?
I mean, that has been going on since I've lived here.
actually.
I'm just thinking of all the old,
Kind of hard to go with that.
The C&D? Last I heard that Stark County Soil and Water is out there, Mr. Piro told me they got them out there. Something to do with the pond they're digging out front, but the township's been on it pretty good. They did clean up the road with the actual street sweeping machine that has water, brushes, that takes it up. So they did have that machine out there to do it. And it did look better. I did drive out and look. Now for future problems, I can't get a meeting with them. I've called and talked to people and they're supposed to call me back. They don't. Mr. Pierce was looking at that also. 'Cause I wanted a meeting with the owner, council and mayor and township and sit down and go over what we would expect to have that done so it don't happen in the future. But I have not gotten a call back from anybody. That was the last I heard.
What happens if they keep?
I think, yeah, at that point, we have to, I mean, Sister Bag, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we can request an injunction, right? If they're violating, clearly violating, you know, with the cleaning of the wheels of the trucks and bringing that, what could be contaminated soil through the village. We've tried to evade it by having a meeting. They refuse to join. I mean, what's our next step? I think,
I mean, let's start with soil and water involved, which is good.
yeah,
I mean,
but I'm just worried about what's gonna happen next
Future.
spring, right? Next, you know, it happens every year, right? I mean, it's, So yeah, it may go away now because it's warming up a little bit. Hopefully the rain stops a little bit, so it's a little bit drier. But we all know next spring it's going to happen again. So
I do know that they said it was worse this year with the new gas station being built and all the dirt hauling, but I mean, it just shows that there's nothing cleaning their tires off or their beds off. So whether it's the dirt from there or somewhere else, to your point, it's going to get drug out, maybe not to that extent, but it's going to get bad. It's not proper.
The trucks going in and out every day.
Yeah, it's not proper at all.
They're hauling from the library in Canton too.
right.
That's
Yes, I think we just got to figure out, and maybe we can talk about wants list or bad, but I think we just got to figure out what our course of action is as a village. I mean, the business isn't located within the village, but they drive through the village streets. Yeah.
And it's not the location of the business, it's the impact on our roads.
Right.
And we could certainly first step, send them a demand letter asking or demanding that they stop. And then if they don't comply or come to the table with that, proceed to court. We're not afraid to do that.
So maybe we can consider go ahead and drafting that, because I think I haven't seen any movement. I don't know.
No, I
haven't
mean,
seen any-
like I said, I saw the street sweepers that were out there and they did do a decent job. It's cleaned up for now.
Right.
I haven't been back in there to see, like, dump anything to see back in there what they've changed back there. I did see that there a big pond's getting dug out front, which I think is an issue, which don't quote me on that, but I think there are townships on that too, because of its proximity to the edge of the property.
Wasn't there some form of consent agreement that was entered into in the past that they abide by?
For the village or for the township?
Both.
Nothing with us.
I don't think, maybe with the township. I haven't asked that.
Okay. I just, yeah.
I'm sure the township had an agreement with something, so you have a business there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
in their township, so I'm sure there's something there, zoning wise or an agreement or
At least if they have a pond, they could have the tire wash right there.
something to blow thinking mud off. But back to the cupola. Do we want to have that
I would choose to eliminate it completely,
completely, not put the cupola back up at all?
right? Just bring the roof right up there. Any penetrations through a roof is a prospective leak. And if that thing's been up there for that many years, it's no doubt in bad shape. So I'd move, we just get rid of it, have a real nice roof section right there.
So just a pitched roof out there, no more cupola.
No more
Can we
cupola.
see a quote on it though?
Well, I want
Since it's
to,
like a historic part of it.
yeah, and that's what was my thought. My thought was that, and then my thought went to exactly what you said, like, do we want to restore the building back to its historical site?
I mean, there's not much left of the historical side of the building, but that's about it.
So, yeah, I'll get two quotes. I'll get, rather we tear it down and get a pitched roof on it and we'll rebuild it, or
It's
put a whole new one up.
Different if it's 80 grand, but
Yeah,
I think
it's probably gonna be
It
about
might be.
that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it might be one of those ones we got to send out for bid, right?
Yeah, it'll crest the 79,000 and some odd change, I'm sure it will. Cause you gotta get a crane out here and it's a lot.
I was looking at both ways that way.
Oh yeah, I will 100%. Cause it's, both them things cross my mind exactly.
No, I agree. There's historical value in it too, because I mean, it's been here forever.
You're ready to tear it down 30 seconds.
Well, I see the point of the historical value of it. It's been here forever, but at the same time,
Is it worth 80 grand?
is it that, or is it worth having to go up there and fix it every 2-3 years, you know? Because let's face it, it's gonna.
So I'll get a quote on
Again.
fixing what's there, and then I'll get a quote on tearing it down and putting a pitched roof
Yes,
up
yeah.
to make
I
it
don't
look decent.
remember ever putting any.
In the 30-some years I've been new, we haven't done a thing with it, other than take the bell out of it.
We put Santa up there at Christmas.
Well, that's you putting sand on, but as far as any.
Yeah, it'll keep the weather out.
I'm not doing nothing with that.
If you do that now, it might fall off.
Well, one of the gentlemen that come up there and looked at it, he said, yeah, it looks like you bungee strapped that down. I'm like, no, that was holding sand up there. It wasn't to hold that down.
We'd be in trouble if it was holding that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look good. It's not in good shape. It isn't. It really isn't. It needs to be taken care of, but. So I'll call some contractors and get some quotes both ways though. Anything else for the asphalt, the playground equipment, or the roof? Those are the three things I'd like to see approved.
Why you ordered a different?
The price difference, it's just, I did ask about the warranty. I believe it's a 10-year warranty with them, which is not much different than, now we've used Henderson in the past and they've done a fabulous job, and they offer great warranty.
Uh-huh.
I just don't see justifying 20-some thousand difference in price. That's just me. Again, it's your guys' choice. That's why I lay them 3 in front of you. I give you a recommendation, and if you guys prefer somebody else, that's great. But, I mean, it's like 25,000, I think, difference between Yoder's and.
16.
Yoder says lifetime.
It's 16.
Yeah, it says lifetime, but it's not technically lifetime. It's
I
like
think
10 to
it's
15.
lifetime on the
15.
shingles, right? Lifetime
Yeah,
on
and they give you,
shingles.
it's a good warranty,
Yeah, program.
and it's 15 years on the labor.
Yeah. Right.
So you get 5 more years for that.
Tell me I'll be done in a day.
They might be done in a day up there. They move.
Yeah, I would ask council to consider it, at least the roof, the part, because slate is flying off now, just so
Mhm.
everyone's aware. I mean, we've seen a few pretty good pieces of it come off in the recent weeks.
I'll be honest with you, it's to the point where I want to get some barricades. Once we get barricades off the water break holes and repair them this week, I want to barricade that kind of off so people don't even walk close to that building.
Do we got money allocated for these things?
We have money for the roof, yeah. As far as a cupola, we're gonna have to see about that, depending on what your summertime projects are.
But these quotes don't include doing anything.
No.
No.
No. It's just this lower end here, back around the police department. And the highway.
Everything the whole entire roof except for the coop.
Now, these prices that you have in your packet include the gutter, replacing the gutters
Yep.
also.
I like that pretty good deal.
I-
34.
I thought it was well cheaper too. That's why I recommended Yoder. Now, like I said, I'm not knocking Henderson. I mean, I've heard good things about Charm. But we used Henderson in the past with the park, for the pavilion and the garage, the service office. Fabulous job.
And
No
they cut
complaints.
us a deal?
No, they're one of the higher bids, but you dig into it. There's some things that are offered in there that are not offered by the others. I mean, it just depends on how deep you want to go into what you want on the roof. I mean, but at the end of the day, Kurt said it's 16,000. I thought it was 20-some thousand difference, but.
It's still sizable. I mean, you could go towards the.
Well, that was including a $7,000 extra warranty, wasn't it?
No, it's just straight shingles and gutters. Apples for well, I don't know about the warranty on
Yoder's.
Yoder's is 10.
okay.
On
It didn't
paper, right?
specify 10. All it said
It
was.
says if you look
lifetime.
at the very bottom there, Mr. Collins, yeah, down there, it should say 10.
It doesn't say
10-year non-transferable work.
All right. I was looking up there and then
Yeah.
10 years, anything happens.
Charm, I don't
You
think
would think
has
it would hire,
anything.
that's what they said. Usually it happens within 5 years, but they give that 5-year buffer. They back their stuff pretty good, he said when I talked to him. But I know Henderson does too, and theirs is 15, I think.
Yeah, this is pretty generic.
My main
So-
area of concern for this is where everything meets the roof down here.
Yeah.
Because all those posts have to sit on something.
Mhm.
And whether it's flashing or some kind of, sealant of some kind, that's where the weather's gonna get into the building.
And the reason I'd like to get the asphalt and the
If it's
playground
not
approved, because the
repaired,
playground's about
repaired,
10 to 12
Right.
weeks out after you order it.
But
But they get the equipment in and install
like Bill was saying, it's been there for a long
it. So that puts you
time.
towards the end of summer, I think it'll be August,
We don't want to be
around
working on
somewhere
it
around
every few
August,
years.
to have that all done, if we got it approved now. And then, I think it's about what we spent last year on the playground, wasn't it, Kurt?
A little less, I think.
This was less than what we spent last
Yeah.
year.
And then the paving, obviously I want to get on that list, because you know how that all goes. I mean, you gotta get them out here, so. All right. Any other questions?
Fine to do all 3.
I'm good with it.
You have to make motions.
Mhm.
Any more questions for me?
No.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to approve $78,180 for North Star asphalt paving for streets in the village this summer.
Second.
Roll call, Collins.
Yeah.
Blue,
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yeah.
Anderson.
Then I'll make a motion to approve funds for the playground, the amount of $24,205.
Second.
Roll call Collins.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yay.
Amstutz.
And I'll also make a motion to approve funds of $34,368.43 to hire Yoder Roofing, complete roofing projects in the village.
Roll call Collins.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yeah.
Amstutz. Okay. Takes us into safety. Chief.
Sergeant Crouch, thank you guys at the stats earlier. We had 170 calls for service. Sergeant Crouch participated in Operation Python within the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force, and up with 11 felony arrests in the county. Spoke with Patrol Finder today. We received the GPS pucks. Those are going to be installed in the cruisers probably at some point this week. And we have mapped out the patrol points and gotten the maps of the village all uploaded into the software. Body worn cameras have been ordered. We have our leads audit on Friday, which is usually done biannually. So been kind of getting stuff with that prepared. Officer Euclidia finished up his field training and he took his refresher and passed that. So he is now going to be out on the streets, and we are wrapping up our inventory and cleaning and auditing of the evidence room. That should be done here probably within the next week or so. And everything, there were some discrepancies that we're going to have to look into from prior administrations. However, I think everything is kind of set up to go moving forward with that. So, any questions about anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Alright. Anything for judicial?
I don't believe so.
Anything for grants?
Yes. I got a notice from Representative Ruley's office, and it reads as follows. Thank you again for your work on the fiscal year 27 appropriations process. As you may know, members of the House of Representatives are limited to 20 community projects funding requests. In fiscal year 27, Congressman Ruley received over 200 submissions to his appropriations portal. I'm pleased to share that your request was one of 20, which Mr. Ruley put forward to the Appropriations Committee. You can find the public listings of this submission on his website. And by the way, when you go to his website, out of the 20, we are number 5. So we're like right at the top of the list. The only person higher is Louisville for their water treatment upgrades. While the timing is fluid year to year, we are hopeful to have good news to share that your project was included by committee in the final bill text sometime later this spring, early summer. From there, the House and Senate will work on combining their bills and getting legislation before President Trump by 10/1. Please let us know if you have any questions in the meantime, and thank you again for your advocacy on behalf of our shared constituents. Mr. Ruley's office. So there is a bright spot to this grant. There are further steps in seeing this to its logical conclusion, and I spoke with Miss Riggs, and what I would like to do is have her come in on our next council meeting and further explain what's coming up next. and have her also review any remuneration needs she might have to bring this to its conclusion. Let's see. I also spoke with her about a possible generating our own water scenario. And she had been looking at my request and said that there is money out there for that. But she suggests that we wait until after this grant is dispelled so we don't get too many brands in the fire, because like any other grant, you're going to have engineering costs with it. So that's on the back burner for the time being, but I'm going to continue to look up information for that, because I think that would be ultimately the best way to go. And that is all I have for grants.
It's a good update. All right, anything else for grants?
Nope.
Very good. Takes us to finance.
Make a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $11,967.92 as presented by fiscal officer Geis.
Second.
Roll call, Collins.
Yeah.
Baloo.
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Make a motion to approve payroll from 3/8/26 to 3/21/26 in the amount of $26,399.88 as presented by fiscal officer Geis.
Second.
roll call, Collins.
Yeah.
Baloo.
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yeah.
And
Also make a motion to approve the February 2026 bank reconciliation as presented by fiscal officer Geis.
Second.
roll call, Collins.
Yeah.
Baloo.
Yeah.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Garmin. And Stutz. The permanent appropriations deployed through April 8th is in the agenda.
Here's another one.
Anything else for finance?
Thank you.
All right, takes us to other. Earlier this, well, it was last week, I had sent out the mayor's court report for March 2026. Total collected for the month, $6,178, which breaks down as follows: $2,739 in fines, $2,355 in local costs, and $1,084 in state fine and costs. Any questions regarding the mayor's court report? Since the last council meeting, I also published the village cleanup date as Saturday, May 16th. A reminder to all residents, this is only available to those that currently have Kimball trash service. Would council like to give opinions on yard sale dates? Any?
Traditionally, we did it before the cleanup, don't we? That way anybody that doesn't have stuff they sold, they can get rid of.
In years past, we did, but the only problem is,
Pushed out the trash cleanup too.
yeah, so then you'd have people throwing, it would be trash would be until June, because then if you do it in early May for the yard sales, there's a chance it's gonna be rainy, very rainy,
Okay.
cold. So that's why we kind of flipped it last year. Didn't hear really any big complaints last year about it, timing wise.
I think most people want to get rid of all their accumulated stuff, earlier so they can get their yards cleaned and everything else. If you're throwing it away, it ain't gonna sell anyway.
But
Same as last year, I guess, is okay with me.
yeah, I think we just have to check to see when the the festival is? Actually, I think that's right in June as well.
June 20th, I think.
20th,
Is
okay.
that late?
I think so.
Is it?
You're looking at it?
So if it's the 20th, we could do June 12th and 13th. Council deems that acceptable.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, on the Historical Society's website, it says the 19th and 20th for the
Okay.
festival.
Very good. So do the week before. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Very good. Anything else for other? Any other business for tonight? Ask council for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Collins.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah.
Schneider.
Yeah.
Garmin.
Yeah.
Amsterdam.